My tattoo says a story of triumph, but not without trials. It's kind of about fixing my mindset. It's been a long, difficult journey to get where I am. I am about to be a doctor, and I get to spend the rest of my life helping others and making the world a little better because I know how crappy it can be. My biological father was an alcoholic and had some issues with his anger, and he took a lot of that out physically on me. It went on for like a really long time. Things were getting worse, so I had a lot of like black eyes and busted lips, and those are harder to hide. And so people at school, like teachers and stuff, start asking questions. At some point, they decided my lies were convincing. When I was in high school, I was placed in foster care. I ended up living at a children's home that has about 100 other kids. Nobody had graduated college, so I was the first one. I've seen about like 20,000 kids go through there, so it's kind of a big deal.
This right here used to be my old room. As you can see, it's kind of small, but they put usually 2 kids to a room. As long as the beds are 3 feet apart, you can put as many beds in one room as you want.
While I was in foster care, my social worker, despite being the vein of my existence at the time, managed to keep me in the same school the whole time. So my high school stayed consistent, and it allowed me to like stay on track in school. I think I worked really hard at school more out of like necessity so that I could apply to college, because I knew that was like my way out of the system. I was told that like I couldn't be much, and the system kind of wasn't set out for me to succeed, and I kind of wanted to prove them wrong. So I applied to a bunch of colleges. I eventually chose UNC Chapel Hill. My social worker drove me to college, dropped me off there. I was just kind of really alone, and I didn't know what I was doing. And all that doubt, like from the people who told me that I couldn't do this, was just there, and that's all I really heard. And while my roommate got to call her mom every single night and talk to her, I didn't have anybody to call. And so I really struggled like my first 2 years of college. And so I started building a community. I got back into therapy, which was super helpful. But yeah, it just kind of took me a little bit to learn that I needed people again and that people are important. I kind of always knew that I wanted to help people, and I thought medicine was a good way to get there. Did my undergrad at UNC Chapel Hill, ended up here at EVMS, and I'm really grateful for the whole thing. And the people and the professors were super personable and would just sit and have a cup of coffee with me after the exam that I did poorly on and talk to me about it. But once I was able to overcome that and just build a little bit more confidence, and I think I really just clicked during the clinical years, and being actually able to work with patients and help people, starting to actually see myself as this doctor that I want to be, which was just such a foreign concept. Being a foster kid is a real part of who I am, and part of where my drive comes from and my desire to help people. I worked really hard to be here, and my story isn't one of tragedy. It's one of triumph. And it's okay that it was hard to get here, because at the end of the day, I came out victorious.